Welcome to Domino Theory, the podcast about politics, media, and business. I'm Christian White, and joined as always by co host Mark Simon. We're also pleased today to be joined by John Yu, a key legal mind of our time who can lead us through some of the interesting political and legal jousting over TikTok, the Chinese social media app that I would argue is also a potential tool for espionage and political warfare against the USA. But first, the lead in. The Trump administration is off to a strong start. President Trump has already signed scores of executive orders and set the tone for a radical restoration of the country. Actions range from getting control of the southern U.S. border, threatening imminent tariffs on Mexico and Canada, and firing many government officials. On trade and foreign policy, Trump is turning away fundamentally from globalism and back to a traditional view of how America, as a normal nation state, should relate to the world. Economically, he clearly intends to use tariffs that served America so well from the first law that George Washington signed, the Tariff Act of 1789, and the deregulation and pro energy policies that marked Trump won. Culturally, he's taking steps to restore American meritocracy and end the un American racism known as DEI. Take a step back from the fusillade of executive orders and other actions, and you see a president who is restoring the power of the presidency itself, an institution badly weakened during the 1970s Watergate era and never quite recovered. Ronald Reagan has been long credited by conservative historians for firing illegally striking air traffic controllers in 1981. Certainly, the American people saw that action as decisive and liked it. What Trump has done in recent days is several orders of magnitude larger. It's the most decisive beginning of a presidency since at least the arrival of Franklin Roosevelt and his New Dealers in 1933. It doesn't just feel like the end of a 4 year nightmare that began under Biden. It feels like the end of a 16-year nightmare of stagnation, self loathing, racism, and Orwellian lies that began with Obama. But no presidency starts out perfectly, and Trump has stumbled in trying to save TikTok, a Chinese controlled app that can track Americans' locations and force feed them with hostile media. The original legislation to ban TikTok, if it wasn't divested from Chinese control, passed the U.S. House of Representatives last year by a vote of 360 to 58. On January 18, in a unanimous 9-0 decision, the Supreme Court upheld the government's power to enact this law. The court's opinion outlined the obvious risk. It said, quote, TikTok Inc.'s ultimate parent company is ByteDance Limited, a privately held company that has operations in China. ByteDance Limited owns TikTok's proprietary algorithm, which is developed and maintained in China. The company is also responsible for developing portions of the source code that runs the TikTok platform. ByteDance is subject to Chinese laws that require it to assist or cooperate with the Chinese government's intelligence work and to ensure that the Chinese government has the power to access and control private data the company holds. End quote. That's pretty straightforward and not good. Unfortunately, Trump, who previously supported the TikTok ban and tried to implement one through executive action during his first term, now wants to save TikTok. He signed an executive order instructing the Justice Department not to enforce the TikTok ban for 75 days. Trump also said, quote, I'd like the United States to have a 50% ownership position in a joint venture, unquote. It's unclear if this meant a U.S. company or the U.S. government. It's the latter. If it's the latter, then maybe the government could end up operating a media property that is even more left wing than PBS or NPR. Trump also said he would consider the possibility of X.com owner Elon Musk or Oracle chairman Larry Ellison purchasing TikTok. No conceivable antitrust considerations there. Some people love the decision. One was a spokesman for China's foreign ministry who said, quote, TikTok has operated in the U.S. for many years and is deeply loved by American users. We hope that the U.S. can earnestly listen to the voice of reason and provide an open, fair, just, and non-discriminatory business environment for firms operating there. Sure thing. This comes, of course, from the masters of government censorship, protection, intellectual property theft, and digital political warfare. A better option might be to put an end to TikTok and the rest of China's political warfare activities and instruments, so many of which are operated in plain view here in the United States and in the rest of the free world. That's the lead in.